what is the Wayne Shorter quote? It's like, improvising is composing quickly,
Yes.
and composing is improvising slowly.
Yes.
I think that's right. But to be able to improvise on the spot and kind of compose something,
Yes.
and not lose your way.
Yes.
Like this is a question I wanted to ask you about when you used to do your big drum solos, especially when you first broke onto the drum scene and were becoming a very well-known player, and you were doing like huge clinic tours, playing solo after solo every night. How you and whether you constructed certain things in advance, and when you're in performance mode on stage, maybe you're nervous or whatever the situation is, to not lose your way, because you know that feeling when you're playing and you're thinking, this is not going anywhere, like I'm losing,
Yes.
I'm not latched onto anything.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening, so then the audience doesn't know.
You're just noodling.
Yeah, how do you get out of that?
Yes.
And also, how do you prevent that at the beginning of the next performance? How do you not go in that
That's a
hole?
really good question. So, I always try to keep the solos as improvised as possible, but I'm also a realistic person, and I know myself, especially when you're traveling, you're jet lagged, maybe you've got a headache, or something hurts because you slept on a bad mattress in some bad hotel or whatever. There's always these handicaps to overcome. So realistically, you can't perform a truly sort of capturing improvised solo every night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have a safety net. And I always had sort of my safety nets prepared for long, extensive solos. So I would mentally like to visit certain stations and points that I know from experience work with the audience. And those are things that I can play in my sleep. I can be jet lagged and I can have a toothache or whatever, and I can still pull this off without any problem. So I have these safety nets. Every time I run out of things to say that are relevant and interesting for me or the listener, I immediately try to do a right turn into
Right.
one of those safety nets. They give me time to think and catch my breath and prepare for something else that's improvised. And these safety nets could be, they're usually something very capturing. Either they're sort of rhythm, groove-based things, ostinatos or something, where I can just take a breather. I can come out of some noodling. Okay, that works. Immediately.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, okay, I understand this.
Yes.
You stop noodling now. And I can go, ooh, okay, give me a second to think. There's a rhythm. There you go. That works. Basic compositional concepts
Yes.
on top of an ostinato. And I base all the improvisation on established compositional techniques and improvisational techniques. So, variation, orchestration, mirror images, tension and release, transposition. All these kind of basic. So I would play, It's transposition. It's the same pattern, just played on two different pitches, And then whatever variation. Very basic, simple things. But they're capturing. And they give me enough time to go, okay, how can I turn this up and make this more interesting? Or how can I involve more improvisation in this? And it gives me a theme, to start with. And then explore and go back to the theme, and it seems like I had a plan all along.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're returning to a starting point and so on. So those are the kind of things I use. And